Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Phil 210 channel. And today's video is going to be interesting. But first, I want to thank all those who subscribe and sharing the videos. My intention here is not to, we are only against error. We love people. We are commanded by our Lord and Savior to love people. So please subscribe, share, hit the bell, and all that good stuff. And we'll take it from there. Today's topic is the eternal Quran turns 100, 1924 to 2024. And we're going to delve into this interesting topic. How can an eternal have age or turns a certain age um, that says that he had a beginning? But in Islam, we find anything and everything. So this birthday celebration is courtesy of University of Al-Azhar or Al-Azhar University in Egypt, and you can give them all the credit that is due to them. So as we know, the Quran, supposedly came to Muhammad PBUH through this man called Dahya al-Kalbi, the mailman, or Jibril, because even Muhammad said Jibril is Dahya al-Kalbi, who was a young man, a young handsome man, a Persian man that lives next door to him. That's not my story today, but it's Dahya al-Kalbi who brought the Quran. So as Muhammad was receiving the inspiration or revelation or the direct reading, whatever you consider it, Ibn Abbas tells us in Sahih Muslim 819. Ibn Abbas reported that Allah Messenger saying, Dahya al-Kalbi, or sorry, Jibril taught me to recite in one style. I replied to him and kept asking him to give more styles. So you see the bargaining aspects of being an Arab or or living in that area. So he said, till he reached 7 modes of recitation. Hence begins the problem. So Jibril was giving him one Quran, and Muhammad said, "My people are too ignorant to understand this one. Give me more, And he gave him some more, and it ended being 7 recitation. No person can tell you where those recitations are and why is one language needing 7. I don't know what qira'at. Why is from one language? So some people say these are the recitations. Number one, qira'at Nafi al-Madani is from Medina, and from these qira'ahs that we get Qalun and Warsh, because if you don't know, there is so many different Arabic Qurans, and they usually Muslim. They say, when they talk to Christians, it's like, which Bible, this or that. The Bible has translations to different languages, not different Bibles, but this is one language. Arabic has this many in the beginning. In the beginning. So this from Qira'at Nafi al-Madani, we get Qalun and Warsh. Number 2, Qira'at Ibn Kathir al-Makki, and this is from Mecca. Number 3, Qira'at Abu Umar al-Basri from Basra, from Iraq. And from that, we get Quran called al-Duri and al-Susi. And there's a different topic between and on the differences between this Quran and that Quran, but we are not going to approach that today. We just going to approach Quran turns 100. And which Quran that turned 100? Continuing, Qira'ah number 4, or reading or recitation number 4, is Ibn Amir al-Shami, and that's from Syria. Number 5, Qira'at Asim al-Kufi, al-Kufa, from al-Kufa. And from there, from that qira'ah, we get Hafs. And Hafs is what we're going to be talking about today. Number 6, Qira'at Hamza al-Kufi, also from Kufa. And we get Quran called Quran Khalaf from there. Number 7, Qira'at al-Qisa'i, also from Kufa. And we get also al-Duri from that Qira'ah. Listen, this subject of Qira'at threw the Muslims for a loop. No one, you don't find two have the same explanation for the same thing. So I'm not even going to approach that because they talk about it for 2 hours, and at the end they say Allahu Alam what it is, because now they say there's hundreds of Qurans. So now we come to this guy here after the death of Muhammad. This guy named Uthman ibn Affan, or the dude who burned the Quran. I think it rhymes there. And we read in Sahih al-Bukhari 7191, narrated Zayd ibn Sabit. And Zayd ibn Sabit is the Secretary of the State. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but those who understand, they know what this means. He said, Abu Bakr, one of the Khalifa, Abu Bakr, sent for me owing to the large number of casualties in the Battle of Yamama. While Omar was sitting with him, Abu Bakr said to me, Omar has come to me and said, a great number of qaris, or memorizers. So those who they used to recite Quran were also jihadis, or soldiers of the Holy Quran, were killed on the day of the Battle of Yamama. And I'm afraid that the casualties among the qaris of the Quran may increase on other battlefields, whereby a large number of Quran may be lost. Now, I thought Allah said He will keep it and collect it and memorize it. Not today. Not today. Zayd ibn Sabit, the Secretary of the State, said, by Allah, and we find this in Sahih al-Bukhari, continue 7191, if Abu Bakr had ordered me to shift a mountain among the mountains from one place to another, it would not have been heavier for me than this, ordering me to collect Quran. Then I said to Umar and Abu Bakr, how can I do something which Allah Messenger PBUH did not do? Abu Bakr said, by Allah, it is something beneficial. And in the subject of moving the mountains, all you have to do is just come to Christ. Christ said, by faith, you can move, you can tell the mountain to move and it will move. You can't do it under that authority. So Zayd said, this is next to impossible. That they convinced him. From Sahih al-Bukhari 4987, narrated Anas ibn Malik, and is going around the same things. Hudayfa was afraid the people of Sham and Iraq, differences in the recitation of the Quran. So he said to Osman, O chief of believers, save this nation before they differ about the book, the Quran, as Jews and the Christians did before. So Osman sent a message to Hafsa saying, so Hafsa had a copy of Quran in her house. Send us the manuscripts of the Quran so that we may compile the Quranic materials in perfect copies and return the manuscripts to you. Hafsa sent it to Osman. There's some hadith that said that they never returned it to her. Osman then ordered Zayd ibn Sabit, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, Said bin al-As, and Abdurrahman ibn Harith ibn Hisham to rewrite the manuscripts in perfect copies. And there's a lot more to this also. You can go to Sahih al-Bukhari, where say if you differ in, when you see something different, use the dialect of Quraysh, which doesn't make any sense, but that is not our topic today. So like he said, the Muslim jihadis, the early Muslim jihadis who used to recite Quran, they went to the battle, and in battle, people die, and these people who memorize, and they differ in the number. 300 something died. Some people say 70, and the Quran was dying with them. It's like, what do we do? It's like, let's gather the Quran. So this is what was happening. The people in Morocco, for example, they use maybe Warsh Quran, and they will read like verse whatever, chapter 15, verse 29, and they read falafel and hummus. We go to Cairo, for example, just close to the pyramids, and people reading the same verse, 1529, it says steak and potatoes for the same thing. So Osman said, no, this is not going to happen. So Osman got these four people to write, the Zayd and Sebit and a bunch of them to write the Quran in one book. He said one perfect book. And he got these people to write it. And I see these people with a smirk in their faces. I wonder why. I think they got to the verse that says men can marry two, three, or four, but if you can't, only marry one. But I think the original verse was saying marry two, three, four, five, 6, 10, 13, and they decided to limit it to 4. It's like, we're going to leave the rest of the harim to us. I think that's what happened here. You can disagree with me, but Allahu Alam, what were they laughing about? But they write in Quran. So Osman ibn Affan was trying to do something that Muhammad did or couldn't do. He's tried to do tawhid to the Quran. So that means bringing a bunch of Qurans and make one. So this is the perfect meaning to the word tawhid. The United States of America is tawhid. So when you say tawhid for Allah, what does that mean? It means 360 idols being combined into one called Allah or Allah. Trust me, that's what it means. Go to linguists or whoever. Don't bring the Quran. Ask them, what is Tawheed? What is Tawheed? United. It's not, doesn't mean one. So Osman tried to do Tawheed to the Quran, and the manuscripts, he burned the manuscripts. See, it's going back to Allah. Why would you burn the manuscript? So, I mean, yes, the ants spoke in there, the jinn spoke in there, and even shaitan put some verses in there. But why would you? I mean, what does that mean? If you burn the manuscripts, that means there's stuff in there. Is more strange. If you think the Quran is strange now, how strange was the pre-burn Quran? So now we come to 1924 to Azhar University, and we have all these Qurans. We have Warsh, Al-Duri, Al-Susi, Khalaf, Hafs. We have Qalun. We have Ibn Kathir 1. We have Ibn Kathir 2. We have Warsh 2. And the list goes on and on. They say 37. Some people say 100 Qurans. Some people say 700 Qurans. That's not my concern now. What did this prestigious university, Al-Zaytuna, found in Al-Zaytuna in Egypt, very prestigious university, do with the Quran Al-Karim? This is what happened. It's a committee leading professors from Al-Azhar University had started work on a project in 1907, but it was not until July 10, 1924. So this year, July 10, 2024, makes the centennial year for the Quran. The Cairo Quran was first published by Amiri Press under the patronage of King Fuad the first of Egypt. As such, it's sometimes known as the Royal Amiriya edition. The goal of the government of the newly formed Kingdom of Egypt was not to delegitimize the other methods of recitation. Wait, I'm going to tell you the story, why they did that. This is what here for public consumption. But to eliminate that which the colophon labels as imprecise typefaces found in Quranic texts used in state schools. To do this, they chose to preserve one of the 14 Qiraat. 14 Qiraat readings? I thought it was 7. It will keep growing, namely that of Hafs. student of Asim. Its publication has been called a terrific success, and the edition has been described as one now widely seen as the official publishing methods of the Quran, and is popular among both Sunni and Shia Muslim. Minor amendments, okay, more adjustments were made later in 1924 and 1936. The Farouk edition in honor of the ruler King Farouk. So the changes were made to accommodate King Farouk. Now we come to the real story. What happened? Students in schools, high school and universities, they were studying the topic of Quran Sharif or Quran Kareem, or generous Quran, the right meaning for the Quran, the generous Quran. And when they come to the text, when they come to the test to be tested at the end of the year, student from school A and there's a student from school B having the same test. When they looked at the answers, they found in this answer to the question A, the student put steak, but student in school B put potatoes, and they were both smart students. So the scholars went back to, it's like, what is this here? This doesn't make sense. So one of the smart teachers told them, listen, student A from school A and student B from school B are using different Qurans, and Qalun and Warsh, Al-Duri and Susi, they don't match, not only in wording, but in meaning. So that's a problem, scholar from Zaytuna. So they decided to come together. They collected the tests, the Qurans that they were using, and they threw them in the river Nile. You didn't see that in that publication. So now, Hafs, we're going to be talking about Hafs, 100, or Uthman. This Quran was written and compiled according to the narration of Hafs ibn Sulaiman ibn al-Mughira al-Asadi al-Kufi. From who? From Asim ibn Abi Nujud al-Kufi al-Tabi, on the authority of who? Abu Abdurrahman Abdullah ibn Habib al-Salami, on the authority of who? Osman ibn Affan, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zayd ibn Sabit, and Ubay ibn Ka'b, on the authority of the Prophet. PBUH. So this is what you need to keep in mind as we go here. Hafs is narrated from Hafs, who is a student of Asim, who got that from Abu Abdurrahman Abdullah, who got it from Osman, and they call that Quran Osman Quran, or the Quran of Osman, the Uthmanic Quran. And if you too young to remember, back years ago, they used to point to a certain page. They said, this Quran, this is the original Quran of Osman. You see that spot there? That's his blood. They killed him, and he was holding to that Quran. This is Osman Quran. Lies, bunch of lies. So now let's introduce Hafs and Hafs Quran. What's the problem with that? Turning 100. Osman burned the Quran. He's the original, in the Senate, which is Quran. Even there's a verse that Quran is hadith, and which means is narrated from this person to this person to this person to the Abduls in 2024. So Osman is the first in the chain of narrations. We got Osman, we got Abdullah, and we have Asim, and we have Hafs at the end there, then Abduls. Why did he burn the Quran? Why didn't you leave the sources so that people can go back to them? The Bible has thousands of sources from the 3rd century and even before. 20 whatever thousands, and it's still kept, and people go back and look at that. Why would you burn the Quran unless if there is a problem? Maybe. Let's read. And this is basically from the book called Al-Itqan in Ulum al-Quran. Al-Itqan fi Ulum al-Quran. So this one here, Abdullah ibn Umar reportedly said, "Let none of you say, I have got the whole Quran." Huh? How does he know what all of it is? Much of the Quran has gone. Let him say instead, I have got what has survived. So now to the Muslims, when you look at your Quran, don't say this is the Quran that was in heaven in the beginning. Say this is the survived Quran. To be honest. And this comes from who? From Al-Suyuti, Abi Bakr al-Suyuti. Zayd ibn Hubaysh reported. Ubay ibn Ka'b, this is one of the original, this is was Muhammad, said to me, what is the extent of Surah Al-Ahzab? This is a surah in the Quran called Al-Ahzab. I said 70 or 73 verses. He said, yet it used to be equal to Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah is 286 verses, I think. So Surah Al-Ahzab is minus 213 verses. It has 213 verses missing from Surah Al-Ahzab. And in it, they said, we recited a verse of stoning. Where's the verse of stoning? I said, and I was in, and what is that verse of stoning? He replied, the fornicators among the married men, al-sheikhs, and married women, sheikhas, stone them as exemplary punishment from Allah, and Allah is mighty and wise. This is from Al-Itqan, from Ulum al-Quran. So where is that 213 verses from Al-Ahzab is gone, he says. Could this be the problem why they burn Quran? Continue. From Sahih Muslim 1050. We used to recite a surah. This surah is not there anymore, which resembled in length and severity Surah Al-Bara'ah. Bara'ah is 129 verse. I have, however, forgotten it, which with the exception of this, which I remember out of it. If there were two valleys full of riches for the son of Adam, he would long for a third, valley, and nothing would fill the stomach of the son of Adam but dust. And we used to recite a surah which resembled one of the surahs of Musabbihat, and I've forgotten it. Two surahs now missing from Quran, but remember this much out of it. So there's two verses here. Remember, oh people who believe, why do you say that which you do not practice? And that is recorded in your necks as witness against you, and you would be asked about it on the day of resurrection. Thank you, Sahih Muslim 1050. It says there's two surahs, one of them similar to Bara'at, 129 verse, gone. Another one, big also, gone. I don't remember it. It's not there. I've forgotten it. I thought Allah will keep those things in order. Didn't happen. So now let's come to, we discussed Uthman. Uthman was the caliphate. It's the first one in the chain. Let's come to Abu Abdurrahman Abdullah ibn Habib Salami. When he's going to tell us that this Osmanic Quran is not Osmanic. And look at this. Al-Ala'i said in Jami' al-Tahsil, Abdullah ibn Habib Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami, the second in the chain of narration, said Shu'bah, and Shu'bah is a big deal in hadith and everything. Shu'bah did not hear from Uthman or from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, but he heard from Ali. So this is Ali's Quran. It's not Osmani Quran. This is Shia celebrate. This is Ali's Quran. Yeah, Ali. And what's the big deal? So they've been trumpeting for years that this is Osman, this is Osman, this is Osman. So we didn't even hear from him in this chain of narration. So let's move to Asim. So Osman, Abdullah, and then Asim. What's up with Asim? Al-Dhahabi. Al-Dhahabi is a big deal of a scholar mentioned in a book called Mizan al-I'tidal fi Naqd al-Rijal, the balance in criticizing the men of hadith and the scholars. So it was stated, Asim is not entitled to be called trustworthy, and he was not a hafiz. He's not a memorizer, and he was confused at the end of his life. And in a book called Taqrib al-Tahzib, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. When you say that name, people stand up or do something. Is a big deal scholar. Said, Asim may be trustful. Asim may be trustful, but has delusions that somebody brought Quran to you. Muslims, wake up. Continue to talk about Asim. In a book called Tuhfat al-Hawadi, there's this Sharh Jami' al-Tirmidhi. You know what Jami' al-Tirmidhi is, by Abu Ala al-Mubarak Furi, one of the big names also. Ibn Kharsh said, Asim hadith is indecent. Yet he brought Quran, and you reading Hafs Quran. Sunan al-Nisa'i, if you go to sunnah.com, this is one of the 6 most trustworthy names. Sunan al-Nisa'i said, Asim is not a memorizer. In Tarikh Dimashq, or History of Damascus, Ibn Asakir, again, big name, Al-Uqayli said, Asim had nothing but poor memorization. Please ask me if you want these internet links. I will send them to you. But there's no dispute on this. And there's hundreds. I'm just getting 1 or 2. I don't want to use 2 hours for this. Now let's come to the namesake person, Hafs the liar, Hafs the taqiyya maker. What did al-Bukhari say about Hafs? He said, on the authority of Hafs, that he abandoned any hadith written by Hafs. Nothing. I will take no hadith from Hafs. So if you don't take hadith from Hafs, why would you take Quran from Hafs? That's like saying, I don't trust this person to be a witness in stealing a case, but let's bring him in the murder case. I'll let you make that decision. Al-Nisa'i, again, for those who follow Sunnah.com, he is there first. I mean, the first 6. Al-Nisa'i said about him, he is not trustworthy, and his hadith is not written. It's not included in anything. You see his name, drop whatever that is coming to you. So now we have the first person, Uthman. He burns the manuscripts. The second person says that we didn't even hear from him. The third person, Islam, he's delusional. He's a liar, not trusted. The fourth one is a liar, and we don't even trust him. A book called Al-Du'afa and Al-Matrukin, or Wal-Matrukin. What does that mean? The weak and the ones that are left, abandoned. Weak, in narration or hadith or sanad, and the stuff that is left off Muslim books. Ibn Jawzi, big deal. Tahzib fit Ta'deeb. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani also, that Hafs fabricated the hadith, and he is not trustworthy, and he is a liar. This is not from any sources. This is from Islamic sources. This is your Quran that is you are using now, and you're reading, and you try to memorize and try to live by. Book called Du'afa al-Saghir by Bukhari, big deal. Al-Majruhin by Ibn Hatim al-Basti, big names. Mizan al-I'tidal, the balance again of men, by Shamsuddin al-Dhahabi, big deal. Al-Jarh wal-Ta'dil by Abu Hatim al-Razi. He probably heard the name al-Razi. Came also in Ahmad ibn Hanbal, big deal name, Hanbaliya. Said on the authority of Shu'bah. Shu'bah is a big deal. Hafs took a book from me, stole a book from me. That's what he did, and did not return it to me. And he used to take people's books and copy them. A plagiarist brought you a Quran. This Quran, and you find this in the back page, or depending on if it's Arabic or English, you find it in different places, but you find this. It says, this Quran was written and compiled according to the narration of Hafs. We said Ibn Sulaiman and all that, and then from Asim, and then from Abu Abdurrahman, and then from Uthman. And, and Uthman got it supposedly from the Prophet. That's what they have it in Hafs or Uthman Quran. So who are these people that Zayd ibn Sabit, Abdullah, and that they're supposed to why use these and not listen to what the Prophet said. If you listen to, it said, take your Quran from these four. Narrated Masrik said, Abdullah ibn Amr mentioned Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and said, I shall ever love that man, for I heard the Prophet saying, learn the Quran from these four: Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Salim, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and Ubay ibn Ka'b. And this is found in Sahih al-Bukhari 4999. In Hafs Quran, when Uthman compiled his Quran, he said only Ubay ibn Ka'b was the only one mentioned in Uthman Quran. Where is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, the fearsome foursome? Where is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud? Where is Salim from Ridat al-Kabir, breastfeeding of adults? Where is Mu'az ibn Jabal? Where is Ubay ibn Ka'b? Yes, okay, they mentioned Ubay ibn Ka'b. Even Salim was not there. Conclusion: Muslims today read the Quran according to the narration of Hafs, the thief and the liar, whose hadith was abandoned and who was not trustworthy and used to fabricate hadith. Asim was poor in memorization and his hadith was disliked. He had delusions and was confused on the end of his life. And Abdullah Abdurrahman said that this Quran is not from Uthman. And Uthman was an arsonist. How can you burn Allah's word? If you do that now, they put a sword to your neck. So here you have it. Hafs Quran, the Quran al-Kareem. The search continues. As I said, we're not against people, against error. I believe it's best to return to sender this book. Send it to the mailman, Dahi al-Kalbi, and it's better off. Come to Christ, where you have a certainty of your salvation. You'll be sure that you are saved and you're going to be with him for eternity. With this here, even Muhammad said, I'm not sure what's going to be done with me. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Do it now rather than later. Later will be just out of fear and will not be accepted. Peace, everyone.